Imagine walking into a five-star hotel, not to book a room, but to command it. You aren't wearing a watch that costs more than a car, and your bank account is barely touching triple digits today. Yet everyone treats you like you own the entire building. This is the Invisible Millionaire experiment, where we strip away the gold and keep the gravity. Can you actually convince the world you're wealthy with just $10 in your pocket? This week, we're proving that true power isn't in your wallet, it's in your soul. Welcome to a journey into the psychology of status and the architecture of confidence. For the next 7 days, I'm living on a strict budget of less than $10 a day, but I'll be operating with the mindset of a person who has absolutely nothing to prove. We often think that wealth is something we display through logos and labels, but what happens when those are gone? I want to see if people respond to the energy of abundance rather than the evidence of it. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to carry yourself in any room, regardless of your net worth. The rules for this week are simple but incredibly challenging. I have a total daily budget of exactly $9.99 for food, transport, and leisure. However, my internal rule is that I must never act cheap or rushed. I will maintain perfect posture, speak slowly, and treat everyone with the relaxed kindness of someone who has $1 billion in the bank. This experiment is about testing the internal locus of control. If I feel wealthy on the inside, will the world mirror that feeling back to me? What exactly is the billionaire mindset? It isn't about being loud or flashy. In fact, the truly wealthy are often the quietest people in the room. They don't seek validation because they already have it from within. They have a sense of non-reactivity, meaning they don't get flustered by small inconveniences or social pressure. My goal is to adopt this stillness. If my bus is late or my cheap meal is cold, I will react with the same calm as if my private jet was slightly delayed. This is the first step to becoming invisible but powerful. It's day 1, and the first challenge is the morning routine. Usually, I'd grab a quick coffee and rush to start my day, feeling the weight of my tasks. Today, I'm waking up slowly, spending time in meditation, and preparing for the day as if my time is the most valuable resource on Earth. I'm wearing a simple, high-quality white t-shirt and dark chinos. No logos, just a perfect fit. I step out the door with a sense of purpose. My first destination is a high-end neighborhood where I'll simply walk and exist. Body language is the most immediate signal we send to others. I've noticed that people who feel poor often take up very little space and move with jerky, frantic motions. To counter this, I'm practicing the eyes up rule. I keep my chin level with the horizon and look people in the eye with a friendly, relaxed gaze. I'm not staring them down, I'm acknowledging their presence from a place of equality. It's amazing how much more space people give you on the sidewalk when you simply walk like you belong there. I've reached a boutique coffee shop where a single latte costs $6, more than half my daily budget. Instead of buying the coffee, I walk in and ask the barista for a glass of water with a slice of lemon. I do it with a smile and a tone of voice that suggests I'm deciding what I want, not that I can't afford the menu. The barista treats me with total respect, offering me a seat in the plush lounge area. I spend an hour reading a book I brought, enjoying the atmosphere of luxury for free. The key to this interaction was the lack of apology. Most people with little money feel they need to apologize for not spending it. They look at their shoes or mumble their requests. By asking for water with total confidence, I signaled that I am a person who knows exactly what he wants. The environment responds to that certainty. I realized that the luxury wasn't in the coffee. It was in the permission I gave myself to sit in a beautiful space without feeling like an intruder. Day 2 is all about the power of silence. In social situations, we often feel the need to fill every gap with chatter to prove we're interesting. Billionaires don't do that. They listen more than they speak. I'm heading to a public gallery today to practice this active stillness. I move through the exhibits slowly, letting the art settle in. When someone makes a comment to me, I respond with a thoughtful, brief sentence and a warm smile. I find that the less I say, the more people seem to lean in and value my presence. There is a specific cadence to the way wealthy people move. It's a lack of urgency. If you're always rushing, you're signaling that you're a slave to your schedule. If you move with deliberation, you're signaling that you are the master of your time. I'm consciously slowing down my walking pace by about 20% today. I notice that I'm seeing details I usually miss: the architecture of the buildings, the expressions on people's faces. This slowness feels like a luxury in itself, one that costs exactly $0. Lunchtime on day 3, and the hunger is starting to test my composure. I have exactly $3.50 left for my meal today. I find a small grocery store and buy a simple loaf of bread and an apple. Instead of eating it over a trash can or while walking, I take it to a beautiful fountain in the center of the city. I lay out a small cloth, sit down, and eat slowly, savoring every bite. To anyone passing by, I look like a man enjoying a minimalist, intentional meal, not a person on a budget. By day 4, I'm starting to notice a shift in my own psychology. The anxiety of not having enough is being replaced by the pride of having control. I decide to push the experiment further by visiting a luxury watch boutique. I know I cannot buy anything, but I want to see if I can handle the pressure of high-end sales environments. I walk in, and the security guard nods respectfully. The sales associate approaches me. I don't look at price tags. I look at the craftsmanship. I ask questions about the movement of the watches, showing genuine interest. I spent 15 minutes discussing the history of horology with the salesman. I didn't pretend I was going to buy a watch today, but I also didn't act like I couldn't afford it. When I left, he gave me his card and thanked me for the conversation. This confirmed a huge theory. People in high-end service industries are trained to look for energy and knowledge as much as they look for wealth. Because I wasn't nervous, he assumed I was a high-value client. My $10 a day reality never even crossed his mind. The core of this experiment is the transition from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Scarcity says, I don't have enough, so I must grab what I can. Abundance says, there is plenty for everyone, so I can be generous with my time and energy. Even though I have very little money, I'm being generous with my attention. I help a tourist find their way. I hold the door for a group of people. I offer a genuine compliment to a stranger. These acts of social capital don't cost a cent, but they make me feel incredibly wealthy. It's day 5, and I'm spending the afternoon in a public park that borders the most expensive real estate in the city. I'm realizing that the Invisible Millionaire doesn't need to own the land to enjoy the view. I've brought a notebook to record my thoughts. As I sit here, I feel a deep sense of gratitude. Usually when I'm on a budget, I feel restricted. Now, because I've chosen this path as an experiment in confidence, I feel free. The lack of spending has removed the distraction of consumption, leaving only the purity of experience. Socializing without spending money is an art form. I met a group of people today at a community event. When the conversation turned to expensive hobbies or travel, I didn't shrink away. Instead of talking about things I've bought, I talked about things I've learned. I spoke about the philosophy of time and the beauty of the city's hidden corners. I realized that people are drawn to passion and perspective much more than they are drawn to bank balances. I was the center of the conversation, despite being the only one there who spent $0 that day. How do you become the most interesting person in the room for free? By being the most interested person in the room. I spent today focusing entirely on others. When I spoke to people, I gave them my undivided attention. I asked deep, open-ended questions. In a world where everyone is looking at their phones, giving someone your full presence is a luxury service. They walked away feeling better about themselves, and they associated that feeling with me. This is how you build a powerful network without a single dollar of investment. Day 6. The invisible part of the experiment is now fully active. I've learned how to fade into the background of luxury spaces without looking out of place. I'm spending the morning in the lobby of a high-end corporate building. I'm using their high-speed Wi-Fi and sitting in their designer furniture. Because I'm dressed well and move with purpose, the staff assumes I'm a tenant or a consultant. I'm realizing that 90% of the barriers we face in life are actually in our own heads. If you act like you're supposed to be there, people assume you are. The concept of lifestyle inflation is a trap that most people fall into as soon as they make more money. They think they need the better car or the bigger house to feel important. This week has shown me that the feeling of importance comes from self-possession. I'm sitting in this luxury lobby, and I don't feel inferior to the executives walking past me. In fact, I feel a sense of edge. I know I can survive and thrive on $10, while they might be stressed about $1 million mortgage. True wealth is the ability to walk away from anything. Maintaining the facade when you're hungry is the ultimate test of the billionaire mindset. It's late on day 6, and I've skipped dinner to stay within my $10 limit. My stomach is growling, but my face remains calm. I'm learning that discipline is the foundation of confidence. If you can control your physical urges for a higher purpose, you can control your reaction to anything. I'm not suffering, I'm choosing. This subtle shift in vocabulary changes everything. I am the architect of this experience, and that makes me powerful. Day 7 is here, the final test. I'm attending a networking mixer, where the entry is free, but the expectation is high. I'd used my last few dollars to buy a high-quality sparkling water. I stand in the center of the room, relaxed and open. I'm not scanning the room for who can help me. I'm looking for who I can connect with. I meet a founder of a tech startup, and we talk for 20 minutes about philosophy. He has no idea I'm walking home because I can't afford the subway tonight. And it doesn't matter. The mixer was a success. I made 3 high-level contacts, all because of my energy and the way I held myself. This experiment has proven that status is a social construct that we participate in. When you refuse to play by the rules of, I need to show money to be valued, you create a new set of rules where you are valued for your essence. People are tired of the flash. They are hungry for the real. By being the Invisible Millionaire, I offered something far more valuable than a business card. I offered a genuine human connection. So what are the results of the Invisible Millionaire week? First, I realized that I spend a lot of money on things I don't need just to avoid feeling less than. When I removed the ability to spend, I was forced to find my value elsewhere. I found it in my thoughts, my posture, and my interactions. Second, I noticed that people's treatment of me didn't change because of my budget, it changed because of my confidence. When I acted like a billionaire, I was treated like one, regardless of the $10 in my pocket. The most profound lesson was the shift in my internal locus of control. For many of us, our mood is dictated by our bank account. If we have money, we feel bold. If we don't, we feel small. This week broke that link. I learned that my confidence is a choice I make every morning, not a result of my financial status. If I can feel like a billionaire on $10, imagine what I can do when I actually have the money. This is the foundation of true financial freedom, knowing that you are enough, even with nothing. Comparing day 1 to day 7, the biggest difference isn't the world around me. It's the world inside me. On day 1, I was nervous about being found out. I felt like an imposter. By day 7, the Invisible Millionaire wasn't an act. It was a reality. I had internalized the habits of the wealthy, the stillness, the listening, the lack of urgency. These are not just social hacks. They are ways of being that improve every aspect of your life. Wealth is not just about what you have. It's about who you become in the process of seeking it. What does it mean to be truly wealthy? It means having the freedom to be yourself in any environment. It means not being defined by your possessions. It means having the discipline to live on less than you earn and the confidence to walk through the front door of life without asking for permission. This experiment has shown me that the Invisible Millionaire lives inside all of us. It's the part of you that knows your worth is infinite, regardless of the numbers on a screen. It's time to start living from that place every single day. You don't need $1 million to start training your billionaire mindset today. You can start with your next walk, your next conversation, or your next meal. Practice the slowness, the eye contact, and the non-reactivity. Notice when you feel the urge to apologize for your presence and stop yourself. Give yourself the luxury of time and attention. These are the building blocks of a life of abundance. When you start acting like you already have everything you need, you'll be surprised at how quickly the world starts to agree with you. To apply this to your daily life, start small. Try one Invisible Millionaire day a week. Go to a beautiful place, dress your best, and spend as little as possible. Focus entirely on your internal state. Watch how people react to your new energy. It's a powerful way to desensitize yourself to the fear of not having enough. Once you realize that your dignity and power are independent of your spending, you become truly dangerous in the pursuit of your goals. You are no longer running from poverty. You are walking toward greatness. This week has been the most eye-opening experience of my life. I've realized that the greatest luxury isn't a fast car or a fancy watch. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are in control of yourself. I hope this experiment inspires you to look at your own relationship with wealth and status. Remember, the world sees what you show it. If you show it a person who is already whole, it will treat you as such. Thank you for joining me on this journey of the Invisible Millionaire. If this experiment changed the way you think about wealth, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you plan to practice the Invisible Millionaire mindset in your own life. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on financial mindset and social experiments. Your support helps us create more content that challenges the status quo. Until next time, remember that wealth is a state of mind before it's a state of the bank. Go out there and command your space.